Okay, everybody, we'll go ahead and get started. It's certainly a unique year, 2020, all kinds of challenges. The great news is the Cowboys are ready to play football, and I know that Nevada is also, and Mountain West will start play. I know there was a lot of debate whether we were going to be able to play or not, and I appreciate the presidents in our conference finding a pathway to play safely for our players. So we're excited about that. I can tell you if there's any questions specifically on names of who's tested positive for COVID, I'm not going to be in position to do that. I know the university releases just generic numbers. So please know that if there's a question on anybody that may not be listed on the depth chart, I can't comment on that. But we're certainly excited about playing. And I know Nevada's an excellent football program. Coach Norvell's done a great job. He's got a contract extension, and I've known Jay a long time. One thing about this year, with all the, the pauses and debates and things like that, our coaches probably spent more time together via Zoom or Microsoft Teams than I can ever remember, and there was a unified feeling. We all wanted to find a pathway safely to play football for our players, and we've been able to do that. In reference to Nevada, they have an excellent quarterback returning. His name's Strong. I thought he did an excellent job throughout the year, and he got better without question and played well against us. They've got the running back Tawa is a strong physical runner and can really pose some challenges. Cooks is an excellent wide receiver along with Dubs. Dubs made some great plays against us. They do have a new defensive coordinator, a guy that I know very well, Brian Ward, had coached with us at one time, and I'm sure that defense will be set and ready to go. So a big ball game. It's great to get started. I'm looking at the images over on the computer screen. I think I can read it fairly well, but if I can't, just bear with me, and I'll call you out. So at this time, any questions from anybody? Yes, Michael.
Obviously, we just got the first step started, and Sean Chambers is going to be your starting quarterback for this game. Can you just kind of explain what went into that decision, and how do you sort of see them both playing? Because it's a while it sounded like the plan was to kind of get them both in there.
Well, I think both guys deserve an opportunity to play in the game, and they both have shown good ability during the course of practice and then last year. Certainly Sean comes back from an injury, and I think he's faster than he was. He's done well during fall camp. He's improved fundamentally throwing, and so we're encouraged about that. Levi has also done some, we think, some excellent things. He's put on probably 25 pounds of lean muscle mass since the bowl game, and he's continuing to improve his throwing motion and putting the ball, and the accuracy's improved. And so to have two guys that have shown that they can play at a high level is certainly encouraging. And we feel like both of them deserve an opportunity to play. How that's going to play out, we're going to find out during the course of the game. But I can tell you right now, you'll see both of those guys in the one will play quarterback at different times. Yes, Nick.
Just a reminder, guys, if you could please be on mute when you are not asking a question. Thank you.
Okay, that was from Nick. I guess maybe we gotten some feedback. Next question. Yes, Tracy.
With the running backs, obviously it only goes two deep, but I've pretty much got the feeling that you're going to go three deep as far as how you play your running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate?
Well, I think you're going to find during the course of the season we will, but during this first game, I think you're going to see, our two guys be used. If we get in the course of the game and we feel like we need another running back in the game, that's going to be contingent upon what type of situations there are. But you can count on us, Tracy, probably riding these two guys in this first two games, and this first game as well. Yes, Davis.
Hey, Craig, you mentioned fundamentals with Sean. I'm curious what particularly you've seen from him during camp and the passing game that you feel like he's improved on, and what makes you think that, what you've seen from him makes you believe that you guys can be more efficient, more balanced on offense.
Well, we do chart everything, Davis, first of all, with a completion percentage, whether it's the quarterback throwing or catching, and those numbers have improved significantly from last year. I think Brent Vegan's done a great job with our quarterbacks as far as, their footwork and their positioning and their arm action and then their progression on the reads. So all those things, to me, his delivery's better and certainly placing his feet in the right place, making sure he's pulling the trigger and throwing the right places also. But I also think Levi's improved as well, and our passing completion percentage in practice has improved from last year. Yeah, Cody?
Obviously, Trayton Welch top in the depth chart. I know you guys talked a lot about him. What made him stand out above those other two guys coming back?
Well, all three of those guys are going to play, but what you are seeing is Trayton's really improved his blocking last year. He was a younger player. He does possess good speed and playmaking ability. And time again during the course of the fall, while we did not scrimmage a lot, we did see him make plays that were, I think, unique. And so as a result of that, you'll see him go. But however, you're going to see us play a lot of tight ends in a lot of different positions. Yeah, Tracy.
On that subject, have you said earlier that you might go with two tight end formations at times too? So would that expand their usage?
Yeah, the debate came whether to release what we call a 21 personnel chart or a 12 personnel chart, because we do so much with all the tight ends, and so we chose a kind of a uniform fullback in the game and things like that. But you're going to see many times that we'll have two tight ends in the ball game. Yeah, Michael.
I believe it was on Friday that you brought up that Nick Knoll was going to be punting and doing kickoffs, but that it was still kind of up in the air, about PATs and whatnot. It looks like Luke got that job. What made him the more appealing option in that regard?
Well, I think it was a close contest during the course of fall camp. He's got a little bit better accuracy, but it's you could see us use Nick in that spot as well. But we went ahead and made this decision as we're getting ready to play. Yeah, Davis.
Craig, I noticed Garrett Crawl isn't on the depth chart. Is that an injury situation?
It is. It's not COVID related. He had. We believe we'll have him back next week, but it pertained to his foot, and he just had a hard time healing a spot in there, Davis, that would, from a surgery, and so he's a little bit behind from that standpoint. We'll hope to have him pretty soon.
You said no surgery?
He had some surgery, but it took a while for that wound to close. It was something our trainer said he's never seen. It's just been kind of a lengthy process, and I know it's been discouraging for Garrett. He's done a great job. Obviously, he's listed as a captain, but he won't be playing this week.
Okay.
Yeah, Cody?
Coach, Jalen Pate, is this a spot that he really earned, or was this one that he kind of fell back into your depth a little bit for? And what do you expect out of Jalen?
A little bit, maybe of both. But Jalen had a really good summer. He came back reported in great shape, and he's played well for us. He's explosive. It's going to be fun to see him. We're confident that he'll go out and make a lot of plays. So I think he's done some good things. Yeah, Cody.
On that same note, how important is it to have a guy like Victor Jones have the fall camp he had, and also have the versatility to bounce it outside, and like you guys are doing with him?
Well, Victor's played a lot of football here, and what has helped is he's played, some end in the past, but to move him out there, we feel really good. A lot of it has come down to getting our best players on the field, and he's got great quickness, and we're excited about Victor. Michael.
Just looking at the wide receivers here, I think your shortest guy is 6'2". That's pretty good height out there. I know, speaking with Brent Vegan earlier in the summer, he was really excited about the potential of that group. What does just having guys like Gunnar and Aiden and Isaiah and Alex that size do for you guys?
Well, anytime you can have a size advantage and get one-on-one matchups where you toss the ball up, obviously, while height doesn't always guarantee you're going to come down with a contested ball, it sure makes a difference. And so between that and blocking and catch radius, all those things are real positive. That's not to say, excuse me, a shorter guy can't play, but we certainly like the height that we have. It's that length and the height. It's going to give us some weapons that we were missing in the past. Davis.
Craig, you had said after Sean got injured last year that you guys might have to sort of reevaluate, how much you're exposing him in the run game, just trying to get him to a season fully healthy. I'm curious, is that still a numbers thing, or is that a thing where you put it on him to say, hey, just be more aware, you got to be smarter about the kind of hits you're taking and when you're taking?
Well, we've always had some predetermined quarterback runs, and we're going to need to protect those guys. However, that's part of college football. I do think there's times that maybe Sean exposed himself to some shots that you normally didn't need to take, and maybe where he could step out of bounds or maybe hook slide on a couple plays where he normally was staying up high. We'll certainly counsel him to do that. However, Sean's an ultra-competitive guy just like Levi is, and both of them are big, strong guys, and so we're not going to necessarily, go into a protective mode on them. However, we're going to be a little smarter. Yeah, Davis.
Craig, you're seeing a lot of these COVID outbreaks among players and coaches after they go on the road and go outside of their bubble. You guys are obviously traveling this week. What are the protocols you're going to be putting in place? I mean, what is that going to look like for you guys, just in terms of when you get into town to when you leave?
Everything's changing, Davis. We're looking at everything from limiting our exposure. Normally, we hop on a plane and we give players some sandwiches and things to drink, and we're not doing that. All our players are going to be masked up the whole time. We've looked at, typically we've had somewhat open seating on an airplane. This time we're gonna stage different guys sitting in different places. Certainly some guys who have tested positive for COVID previously are now, somewhat. They're not going to be exposed, and so you look at not only exposure to COVID, you also look at who could be exposed through contact trace and sit down. That into hotel rooms, to bus rides, to the sidelines being expanded to 15, the 15-yard line to the 15-yard line. We've limited the number of players we've taken. We're looking at our meeting schedule. Thus far, heck, we've still had Coach Caligus is meeting outside right now. And so all those things come into play. We're not the Lone Ranger here, Davis. Everybody's looking at this. I do think that there's some examples where Notre Dame maybe felt like they let their guard down too much and they were having a pregame meal. That is a traditional activity that you do, and they felt like they had an outbreak because of a pregame meal. So all those things it's a new year, and we're trying to do everything I can, not I can, but everything we can to limit that. I've heard this, that many times, the challenge is so much this year while we're playing great opponents and you're fielding a team, you're really challenged with this virus, to how you deal with it, to make sure that you present a football team that's healthy and safe, but the fewer number of outbreaks that you have, the better chance you are to make it through on a successful note this year. Yes, Michael.
I brought it up a couple weeks ago when the revised schedule was announced, but obviously there's not going to be any fans at this game.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you hadn't really had that conversation about how to kind of handle that different scenario. Have you guys kind of started? Trying to, I don't know, do you game plan for that? How do you kind of handle that differently? Because I feel like it's going to be kind of surreal.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really game plan for it. It's kind of like having a scrimmage that's closed, and so you have no one there. And certainly you can hear your opponents. I do think that there's going to be, some interesting nuances because now the quarterback's cadence is going to be heard by everybody. You're going to hear opposing coaches yell across the field. I made a comment earlier. I know that you tweeted it that it's, and I'm not going to repeat exactly what I said, but many years ago, one of the schools I was at, that was kind of the situation. It was you went into the game and there wasn't much activity outside the band, and once the band left, there wasn't much noise. So I think that's where we're going to be this week. Yeah, Cody.
Craig, how important is it going to be to get in Carson Strong's kitchen often with the weapons he has on the outside and in the slot?
Well, he's a very capable quarterback, and he has the ability to run also. Last year is last year. I think any time that you're talking about being disruptive, we want to strive to do everything we can to take a quarterback out of his comfort zone. That means changing up coverages. That means, putting people in different rush lanes. That means getting, legal hits on them. Getting some hurries is going to be important so a quarterback does not have, a tempo. And so, we have a new defensive coordinator, Coach Bell's done a great job. And so we're going to be needing to put some pressure on that quarterback. Yeah, Davis.
Craig, do you guys have any plans to test on game day before you head to the stadium?
Yeah, I can tell you the protocol right now that the Mountain West has put in. We tested yesterday morning. The results are coming back very quickly. We'll test tomorrow, and when we are traveling, we will test on Thursday, and then when we're home, we will test on Friday. And so our plan will be to test on Thursday. We should have those results back in that evening, late in that evening or early next morning. And every school in the Mountain West is going to follow that protocol. If you're away, if your schedule is playing away, you will test on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. If you're at home, you'll test on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, gentlemen, you know what? Thanks for being on today. Thanks for adjusting. It certainly is unique. We're excited about playing, and I know that while the game is closed, it's going to be televised, and you can get the call on our network as well. So at this time, if there's any other questions, Tim, are we all good? I'll say signing off.